I'll just give a quick announcement and then immediately you can come up. You want to use that one?
Hello all, and thank you for joining us tonight. We will be having our evening prayer at this point, so we'll be doing a call to prayer very shortly. If you guys would like to join us for prayer, we'll be praying outside in the hallway. And then we will begin our program about 10 minutes after our prayer ends. So please join us after the prayer, and then if you guys would like to pray once again, we will be outside in the hallway.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
And I don't know exactly who on that, but I saw it, but it was kind of like a sure everybody wants. And it went through like his information.
Now, again, as mentioned, we will be praying outside in the hallway, and prayer will be started right now. Please join us, and we'll begin shortly afterwards.
And then he saw it, he was lost. It was kind of hidden somewhere, but he saw it. it'd be nice to find someone who would go that I knew we could count on to give us input, but to be honest with you, I was really worried about it. From the standpoint, I can't control it. I'm just doing what I do and just run my campaign.
Best. Did you want to figure
Yeah, please. I can't worry. I can only do what I can do. And I've got a young man that's willing to help me, and is pretty sure. The one thing when I was told by I've got it may be out that we're doing nation building concept is kind of like it may be coordinated. The way it was explained to me is pyramid scheme. And he goes out and hires a team of like trying to help you with this campaign. Let's say the bottom of the pyramid is here. Say he's got 10 people he hired. Okay. Then they will move up his ranks based on how many people they recruit to come and be his army So I guess the more you move up, the more money you make, and these people are still down there, but just like every person. I know for a fact the ramp that he had ran against four matches is 85%. He did not get that ramp.
So you have the one sister?
Yep, I know that.
Yeah.
it's not personal. Really all of them are looking at
program very shortly here.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Once again, we will be starting the program here in just a couple of minutes. If everyone could please come on in and have a seat. Once again, we'll be starting the program here in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Raising or like maybe maybe the angle a little bit weird. I could barely hear you when I was up here. Now it's okay.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Once again, we will be starting the program here in just another minute or so. Once again, a reminder, there is a parallel kids program for any kids 10 and under. Please make sure you're enrolled in that program. There's a bunch of activities, there's pizza, we hear there's a clown, so we'll
When I heard that there was a problem, I was kind of tempted to go there myself. But rest assured, your children will be well taken care of in this room. So once again, to reiterate, if you guys have any children who are 10 years old or younger, we request that you please send them there. If you have any questions, please find any volunteer on where to go. But again, rest assured, you will be taken well care of.
sounded maybe quiet.
All this testing and production?
Yeah. It's much better now, by the way. Much better. Yeah. Lucky you're on the You're good? Try to get one there too. Good to go? I think 7.5. Yeah. You think that's right? We already touched on it. Reiterate again, just for the sake of it. I'm gonna mention the word option lives like me. I mentioned that truthfully, I don't want to take my script for the future. No, I was. So that's why I was like, I didn't think so. I was just make sure.
Do it 7:45 sharp.
7:45. Yeah, that's why. So for this one, I guess for the speaker, whoever is, you're introducing the speaker, just sort of leave it there. Because they're gonna need it, right? I think. Oh, that one. So you need to all. If I was introducing them, you just hand it to me.
Assalamualaikum everyone. For anyone who is outside, please come on in and have a seat. We're going to go ahead and start the program. Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to be with you. How you doing? Good. Great. Good to see you. Oh, that's okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to all of our attendees today. My name is Irtiza, and I will be one of your MCs for tonight, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be with you all here tonight at this wonderful event.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Good evening. My name is Pearl, and I will be the other MC for the night. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us for the 12th, 13th annual benefit dinner for the Sabrina Memorial Foundation.
I think there's a little bit of a difference of opinion here on whether it's the 12th or the 13th. We've gotten a little mixed messages, but we'll stay on our side of the aisle for the time being.
Either way, once again, welcome, and we're excited to have you here this evening.
While there are many like us, like Coram and I, who have been with SMF over the years as SMF has progressed as an organization, we realize that there are quite a few members here with us tonight that this is actually your very first event with us here at Sabrina. So we'd like to recognize you guys. So please make it known if this is your first time with us here tonight. If you guys can raise your hands or just a little shout out or something. There we go. Thank you so much. A round of applause for all these guys. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We thank you so much for your presence, and we hope that you enjoy the program that we have laid out for you. We'd also like to recognize a few of the organizations and a few of the entities that we have joining us and blessing us with their presence. We have with us tonight Texas Instruments, the Richardson City Council, the Islamic Association of North Texas, the INT Quranic Academy, UC Berkeley, Rice University, ISDs, independent school districts from all over the DFW Metroplex, as well as many, many health professionals. We hope you guys brought your wallets, or as they do nowadays, tap-to-pay phones or whatever. We hope you brought them, we hope you're ready to use them, and we look forward to a night with minimal distractions.
Amazing. I know we got a shout out for Berkeley, we got a shout out for Rice, but I didn't hear SMU in there. We have some SMU folks here tonight. Welcome. There we go. I love you a little better, but
SMU's the only one that got a round of applause. Wow. Wow, this is a special university here.
We should probably go to UT Dallas in there too.
Yeah, they're fine. There it is.
Awesome. Well, once again, as mentioned earlier, there is a kids program. Just another reminder for any kids 10 or under. There's a parallel program going on right now. Activities, pizza, clown. So feel free to make your way over there if you're not there yet. In addition, we do have a live stream tonight as well. So for those that have not been able to join us in person, we have a live stream on as well.
So please let, if there was anyone that you knew who was planning to be in attendance but couldn't make it with us for any reason, please let them know that we have a live stream going on and that they can tune in from wherever they are in the world. We'd also like to bring one more thing to your attention before we begin our program. Throughout the night, we will be having a silent art action, as you guys can see in the back. If you turn around, we have a few of the art pieces set up. So throughout the night, please, at your own availability, go on ahead, check it out, see if you want to bid for it, see if it's something that catches your eye. Just check it out on your availability throughout the night. At this time, we'd like to formally begin our program with the recitation of the Holy Quran, as well as a translation and reflection over its meaning. So we'd like to invite up Brother Yafi and then Brother Yakin for the introduction.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة. قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فمثله كمثل صفوان عليه تراب فأصابه وابل فتركه صلدا. لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا كمثل جنة بربوة فأصابها وابل كمثل جنة بربوة أصابها وابل فآتت أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير.
You just heard beautiful recitation of Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 261 to 265. In these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God, is describing how just one grain, or one act of charity, can have an exponentially worthy reward. We can translate this into an investment advice. Let's say you go to an investment advisor, and what will they tell you to do? They tell you to invest into a stock as much as possible, as consistently as possible, and they want to see an investment return. 12 to 15% makes it happen, 30% makes it happen. But in this verse, Allah says one grain or one donation has a value of 700 grains. That's a 70,000% return investment. Now, obviously, we jump onto this. But then we need some sort of insurance on this investment as well. Now, what's that insurance in terms of donations? The insurance is going to be your intentions. Are you intending to donate this amount of money to show off, or are you intending this amount of money for the sake of betterment of the community? Today at SMF, we're not asking you to donate a crazy amount. We're asking you to donate a comfortable amount that you can donate to not only better the community, but to also build your house in the year after. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Yafi and Brother Yakin, for the wonderful recitation and the reflection. I know Yakin mentioned he's an electrical engineering major, but it sounded like a lot of finance there.
Yeah, as an engineering major myself, I can tell you that maybe we don't know much about finance. He's definitely had a financial advisor behind the scenes for that. He was dropping words like ROI. It's wonderful, it's incredibly wonderful to see all the incredible work that SNF has done over the years. And if you're new with us, if this is your first time attending one of our programs, we hope that tonight will give you guys a good insight into the work, the beneficial and meaningful work that SMF has done for the community over the years. On that note, I can tell you with certainty that one of the main reasons that Forum and I actually joined the organization was because of its founder, Mr. Wasim Salam. Wasim Uncle was a bold leader. He dreamed big and he had incredible aspirations. And his genuineness was genuinely, it was unmatched.
Yeah, and as Erika mentioned, there's a lot of great organizations out there doing wonderful work. But one of the reasons why many of us not only got involved, but stayed involved consistently throughout was because of the sincerity of Wasim Uncle. And so what we'd like to do now is spend a couple of minutes of a sort of a tribute to our beloved founder. And for that, I'd like to request you all to put your attention on the screens for the tribute video for our beloved founder, Wasim Salam.
having a few technical troubles. You need help with engineering senior? I don't know how much I can do. We hope that video gave you guys a little bit of an insight as to the character and legacy that Wasimo left behind him, and the reason why Khurram and I and so many like ourselves began our involvement with this wonderful organization. We would now like to shift into a few welcoming and opening remarks by the SMF president, Mr. Sayyid Feroz Ahmed. Please, you all help me welcome him to the stage.
Thank you. I need a glass to read. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficial and merciful. Good evening, distinguished guests. Assalamu alaikum. Greeting of peace upon you all. On behalf of Sabrina Memorial Foundation, I have the pleasure to welcome you in our annual fundraising event. Sabrina started this journey back on 2013. I still remember in a summer night, Wasim met me and asked me he wants to do something like this. And that was the beginning, and here a dream. Now we see the reality of that dream tonight. Since then, it's engaged in alleviating the condition of the underprivileged people, especially in the least developed countries, in Bangladesh, in Kenya, and we do some work in Dallas too. We focus on women and children. We want to give them education, health services, social equipment, as a thing we can do as much as we can. And we do it by the support from the sponsor like you who come and encourage us, and we carry forward the legacy of Brother Wasim. From the day one, we are getting tremendous support from the community, from the donors, and from the well-wishers like you. We are indeed very thankful and grateful for your support in our noble journey to change the lives of some people around the globe. Tonight we will see some of the progress we have made over the years. While celebrating the anniversary, let's not forget the people around the world who are dying from hunger, from disease, and some war, whatever. So we want a peaceful world, and we want peace prevail all over the world so that we can live in peace. We must remember that we are all from this one race, and we are all sons of Adam. Let there be peace everywhere on this planet. Amen. Our next presentation is by Brother Jackie Salam, who will come with the theme of the tonight. The theme of the tonight is providing hope during despair, the path forward. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
We ask you all to continue shining just a little bit of light into the individuals, families, and communities that you've been giving hope to for the past 10 years. Jazakallah khair. Also, these are all volunteers, inshallah. They're here to make your evening smooth. So if you need any help, or have any questions, please feel free to bother them as much as you need to. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Zaki, for that wonderfully creative introduction to our theme of the night. I remember when Zaki mentioned that he was going to be doing that, he walked in with the lamp. I was very confused. And then he told me his idea very excitedly. I just kind of looked at him a little awkwardly, but I think that turned out a lot better than I was expecting. So thank you so much for that introduction to our theme. Oh, there's a round of applause. Here we go. I'd also like to thank, and once again, highlight our essential volunteers, our core volunteers that were instrumental in making this night a reality. They were instrumental in all of our programming and everything that SMF does. We would now like to shift into a welcoming, into a program overview, I apologize, by our SMF Executive Director, Mr. Sajid Saddam, who is the brother of our late Wasim.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this year's SNS benefit dinner. My name is Sajid Salam, and I am the Executive Director of Sabrina Memorial Foundation. Your contribution goes a long way to help underprivileged people around the world, especially in rural Bangladesh. Just a month ago, I returned from visiting our new projects. It was a humbling experience to meet so many talented kids who are getting help with your generous donations. During my trip, I was able to visit two of the brand new projects we are developing in Dhaka. One of the projects we are currently is called Charitable Bangladesh, and I had the opportunity to speak with some of the children at this organization. I was amazed to see how these talented street children, most of whom are orphans, have so much talent and potential. One of the kids I met, a sixth grader named Rabbi Hussein, is able to fix smartphones, anything from broken screens to software issues, you name it all. You'll be hearing about this project and more in a few minutes. I thank you for your attendance tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Uncle, for the overview of our night and providing some background on this visit. As every year, we know that one of the key focuses for the Sabrina Memorial Foundation is the topic of women empowerment. And tonight, we have Dr. Alora Shahabudin, who will be joining us to speak on this topic. Dr. Shahabudin spent most of her childhood in Europe and the Middle East. She ultimately came to the States for her collegiate education, receiving her PhD in politics from Princeton University. Dr. Shahabudin is also the author of Sisters in the Mirror, A History of Muslim Women and the Global Politics of Feminism, a powerful challenge to the Western stereotype of the Muslim world being the final frontier of global feminism. Her book was selected as a 2022 Choice Outstanding Academic Title by the American Library Association and awarded the 2023 Umar Swami Book Prize from the Association for Asian Studies. Dr. Shahabudin currently works at UC Berkeley, serving as a professor and equity advisor of gender and women's studies, as well as being the director of the Children's Center for Religious Studies. A fun fact is that she is also the cousin of our late brother Wasim Salam. We are excited for her to have her join us tonight, and without further ado, Dr. Umar Shahabudin.
Thank you for that introduction. It's an honor to be here to celebrate all that Sabrina Memorial Foundation does and plans to do in the future. I am especially thrilled to be here because, as my friend said, because of my personal connection to the family at the heart of the organization. Sabrina, after whom SMF is named, was my much beloved younger cousin, as was her brother Wasim, who many of you in the Dallas area knew and loved, and as is their brother Sajid, who just spoke earlier. Thank you to Farkanda, Sajid, his spouse Sabrina, all their children, and to the SMF team for inviting me here today. Bangladesh has made remarkable strides in human development indicators in recent years, outperforming its South Asian neighbors on many fronts, especially in the realm of girls' education. Okay. Pictures on the corners. While overall female literacy stands at 72% compared to 77% for male literacy, in the 15 to 24 group, girls' literacy, I know it's not very clear, but trust me, girls' literacy is at 96% and several points higher than that of boys. This bodes well for the future and is the result of targeted efforts by successive governments and non-government organizations, big and small, including Sabrina Memorial Foundation, to bring girls into schools and to keep them there. There is a long history to such efforts in what is today Bengal and Bangladesh, and in the time I have today, I'd like to share some snippets of that story with you. Is this working? So I took the title of this short talk, Education, that priceless jewel, from the first essay known to have been published by a Muslim Bengali woman. The essay appeared in a magazine launched by the Brahmo Association, Bama Bodhini Shobha, Society for the Enlightenment of Women. The Brahmos were a reformist group that emerged from the Hindu community. Bama One of the first journals for women in Bengal, Mama Looking Botika, was immensely popular. It sold out all 100 copies of every monthly issue for several decades. And then they announced, we want to be more than a journal about women, we want women to contribute to it. So they sent out a call asking women to write, and one of the first pieces written by women in the magazine was by a woman, a young girl actually, from a school in East Bengal called Ahirunessa. The Ahirunessa's letter was published in 1865, and it focused on the need for education, which she called that priceless jewel. Education, she wrote. She wrote, would teach women and girls to shun wrong practices, would teach them how to behave appropriately towards their parents, husbands, and elders, and how to take care of their own health as well as that of their children. To support her case, the Ahirunessa cited classical texts and invoked celebrated women from both the Hindu and Muslim traditions. She concluded by pleading with the civilized men of this land not to be neglectful of educating women, and to adorn your women with the ornament of education. 4 decades later, in 1905, Ruqayya Sakhawat Hussain published her novella, Sultana's Dream, which many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. She wrote this in English, with the support of her older brother and sister, Begum Ruqayya, as she's commonly referred to today, had learned to read and write not only Urdu, Farsi, and Arabic, which was common among the Muslim Bengali elite at the time, but also English and Bengali. Her husband, who encouraged her to write and publish regularly and to socialize with women of all religious backgrounds, passed away after just 13 years of marriage. He left Ruqayya a large sum of money to be used specifically in support of women's education. In 1911, she started the Sakhawat Memorial Girls' School in Calcutta, and it still exists today. It's gone from being a school to a high school. Ruqayya would also go on to establish several women's organizations. She is revered to this day in Bangladesh with a national award given in her name, the Ruqayya Padak, given every year to individuals who've worked on women's issues. Begum Ruqayya's much older sister, Ahirunessa Khanum, was taught only Arabic as a child, so that she would be able to at least recite the Quran. But Ahirunessa resolved to teach herself Persian and Bengali by watching and listening to her younger brothers, and she practiced writing by drawing the lines of the Bengali alphabet in the dirt. She would go on to write poetry that would fall on Ruqayya to publish her poems after her death. I want you to notice this is the only known photograph of her, and you can see she chose to be photographed reading a book. Again, drawing attention to the significance of education even in the early 20th century. Let me return to Ruqayya Hussein's Sultana's Dream, because I believe that the story from 1905 holds valuable lessons for us today. It's a parable about a utopian society called Ladyland, a land without religious conflict, war, bloodshed, crime, poverty, or even mosquito bites, where all the men live in seclusion and educated women run society, using science and technology ethically and responsibly. Here are images produced by different artists in recent years, all inspired by Begum Ruqayya's vision of what properly educated women could accomplish. So the first two are by Durga Bai, an artist from the Gond community in central India. So the story, if you're not familiar with it, shows women having built these flying machines. This is 1905, long before the Wright brothers. So in the illustration, which is more recent, you have these women flying these machines, women fixing these machines. This is an Indian-American artist. This is from 2018. Keith Image. This have come up with this. And this is a more recent one by a Pakistani artist, just showing this beautiful scene where women are walking outside and doing things and reading and writing in various places. Rokia was acutely aware that it was not good enough to simply send girls to school and then teach them only what would be useful in their roles as wives and mothers. As this excerpt from another essay by Rokia shows, she deplored the vast gap in that era between the education of men and women. So she talks here, in case you can't see it, that women are taught how to measure pillowcases while men are measuring the distance between the sun and the moon and important things. She felt that women should have access to that kind of education also. Her utopian vision in Susanna's Dream shows that she imagined a world created by educated women that was in fact much better than the current world. As I said, a land without religious conflict, war, bloodshed, crime, poverty, and mosquito bites, where educated women run society using science and technology responsibly and ethically. Both sisters would be immensely impressed with recent strides in girls' education in West today Bangladesh. Education is no longer limited to those with wealth and privilege. A literacy rate of 96% among young women is a major accomplishment, but it needs to be kept up by addressing the structural reasons that often prompt girls to drop out of school. As Rokia would tell us, also, literacy and numeracy alone are not enough. We need to ensure that students learn to be genuinely curious about the world, to think creatively, to challenge what is unjust, and to contribute to a better world. Organizations like Sabrina Memorial Foundation have been critical to such efforts and fully deserves our support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shahli, for those insightful words and for providing us a good history on the pioneers that came and paved the way. And then connecting that really to the theme for this year, providing hope during despair. I know one thing that Wasim Uncle used to always say was, when you educate a woman, you're really educating the entire family. And so seeing that, connecting that to the stories that you shared, and also the stats that you shared earlier on about the literacy rates for women currently, really that does connect really well to the theme about providing hope during despair and the path forward. So thank you so much for those insights. Next, we'd like to request the Mayor Pro Tem of Richardson, Councilman Shamsul Arifin, to join us on stage. Prior to being elected to the Council in 2021, he served as a member of the Richardson Zoning Board of Adjustment and the Building and Standards Commission for almost 10 years. Councilman Arifin is a long-standing member of the Richardson community for over 15 years now. Please help me in welcoming Councilman Shamsul Arifin.
Thank you. Well, you just heard that dream and education, how much they can change the life. And I was just thinking, that just recently I had a feeling, not just feeling, I was about to lose my vision in one eye. And that really scared me a lot. The doctor told me that, you'll be fine, but hey, this is my eye. You're telling me I'll be fine, but I need to be fine. So I was very scared, but alhamdulillah, after the surgery and all this, I can see much better now, and everything's under control. But I was also thinking, have I used my eye properly? Because I was about to lose what happened if I lose. And I normally don't get that scared, like every day, what we face. But that day I was very scared. My heart beats very faster than normal. Anyway, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. I'm glad to be here with you to honor the great work of the Sabrina Memorial Foundation. And my heartfelt thanks to Sabrina Memorial Foundation for bringing us together and their dedication to serving to improve life. Our nutrition mayor, Bob Doody, and council member Dan Barrios are also here tonight to show our support this evening. It's essential to build strong relationship with wider communities during normal times, so they remain strong and support you when you need them the most. We have worked hard to build a strong relationship with everyone in Richardson and beyond. This relationship is beneficial for everyone and to stay strong. Mayor Bob and Council Member Dan Barrios are not scheduled to speak tonight, but they came here to show their support. I'll share a couple of my experience. I think you know all this about the election, how things goes on the newspaper, but there is election politics that happens behind the scene. And we don't see that, and I don't think we understand that. And I can tell you that I did not understand nothing about this until I really stepped into that room. But I'll just share two small experience. One is when I ran first time 4 years ago, first term, it was a COVID time. So I had to campaign still. People were indoor, you guys are probably, at least wanted to keep the family safe, stay inside. But I was campaigning. I did receive a message one time that, one person, she told me that she won my year sign, so I delivered the year sign to her house. And then she texted me again that, it's very difficult time for her, and she does not have a job, and she is 83-year-old woman. But she said, she loved what she heard about me, and she wanted to give me, support me financially. But all she had was the $5. And she said, I kept it under the carpet outside, just please take it. So this is one thing, and see something that someone, they believe, and how much they care. And another experience is during the early vote. And I'm not sure if it was early vote or the runoff. By the way, I had 2 elections at that time. And the early vote was from 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock evening. And I was out there all day long. So I didn't have breakfast. I barely had lunch those days. But one day, I received breakfast around 8:30 or 9 o'clock from one of the local church. They said, I was very hungry that day. I was just looking for something, drink or anything. So they sent me coffee, bagel, and some drinks and fruit. So this is what they do outside, and they are not Muslim community. And we know better. So I just want to share this true experience so that how we can change this world one step at a time. Sabrina Memorial Foundation has doing important work in Bangladesh and other parts of the world for many years. You just heard that. It's impressive to see how much they have grown and achieved. As you all know, Brother Wasim Salam was always dedicated to helping others. You heard about him. I had the honor to work with him for many years together. And while I was serving IMT, I'm IMT community. So IMT is my home. And Brother Wasim Salam also did the same thing. And I know how much he cares about the community. So may Allah SWT bless him with high space in Jannah. Amen. And you heard some of the projects that Sabrina Foundation has. Some of them I feel like very important. Education for everyone, and Sabrina Memorial Foundation Academy and Laos High School, night school, hands-on technical training, and clean water for all. It's just $120 per filter, and I think that lasts 1 year. And orphanage and senior citizens home, and that costs only $30 per child.
per month. So it's like $1 per day. Now, we work hard. I know that everyone works very hard, but it's not really just for our own enjoyment, but to make sure that others can also have better lives. And that's how we progress. And Bangladeshis, we have lots of issues there, but they are very hardworking people. They rebuild every time they face natural disasters, even when river wash away entire villages. If you have to rebuild every year, it's very difficult to progress. They need our help. But remember, the comfort and opportunities we enjoy today did not happen overnight. That exists because those who came before us worked really hard to prepare and improve this world for us. We need each other. In the same way, it is our responsibility to build on what they have left behind and make things even better for those who come after us. The effort we put into today isn't just about us. It's about creating a brighter and more beautiful future for our children and their children. And besides, you know that the reward is how much? You just have a few minutes about that. So, Sabrina Foundation works to make education easy to get and low cost for everyone, especially for low-income families in rural areas around the world, Bangladesh and Kenya. But they can't do this alone. This work requires resources, dedication, and most importantly, people like you. I'm sure you understand that, and that's why you are here. This isn't just about giving those needy people a chance. It's about giving them a future where they can rise above poverty and make a positive difference in their communities. And one thing I heard recently from one of the persons involved with the local hospital, and they were investing, not quite investing, I would say that they were giving money to one of the local charity to have another healthcare center. And I asked him, why you are giving, this so people going to this place instead of the hospital? His mind was not really that reward afterward. He was getting the reward today, not to make people happy. He was saying that if we can keep one people away from the emergency room, that saves us so much money. So by putting this 1,000 here, we are saving 100,000 there, and also it's saving probably a life before it gets in trouble, and it saves a bed or we have real emergency. So, but anyway, together we can change this life and create a brighter tomorrow for everyone, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Arifin, for those words, and thank you, Mayor and Councilman, for being here. Having the local support of the community is huge. It means a lot to us, so thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I was briefly speaking with Councilman Arifin before this, and I realized that us here in Richardson, all over in Plano, in Richardson, we're very spoiled. Our city council is everywhere. Everywhere I go, many large events. I have the pleasure of seeing Mayor Doobie, Councilman Arifin, as well as Councilmember Barrios, and any of the other ones that we have with us. We are very spoiled in the city of Richardson, and it does mean a lot, as Sora mentioned, to have the support of our local government. We'd now like to shift into our keynote speech of the night, and we'd like to introduce you to our speaker, Dr. Sabrina. Dr. Mekdisi graduated from Princeton University with his PhD in history after being raised in Beirut, Lebanon. After graduating, Dr. Mekdisi went on to become the very first Arab American Educational Foundation Chair of Arab Studies at Rice University. He is currently a professor of history and Chancellor's Chair at UC Berkeley. After the start of the genocide in Palestine, Dr. Mekdisi, along with his two brothers, also academics, began a podcast called Mekdisi Street, with some of their episodes reaching over 100,000 views on YouTube. When Dr. Mekdisi isn't busy teaching or isn't busy talking on his podcast, you can find him watching his favorite soccer team, Arsenal. Although, to be honest, I'm not too sure how much there is to see there, Dr. Mekdisi, but I will refrain from speaking any further.
Another fun fact about Dr. Mekdisi is that he is the husband of Dr. Aurora Shahabudin, and they actually, well, they didn't cross paths, their lives did cross in Beirut. When they were kids, they actually lived 3 miles apart. They didn't meet until much later, in their 20s, at a restaurant in Princeton, New Jersey, where they were doing their graduate studies. But very interesting that they could have potentially crossed paths in a restaurant or a toy store. So, without further ado, we'd like to request our keynote speaker of the night, Dr. Osama Mekdisi, to join us.
So thank you so much for that very kind introduction, and it's your misfortune that you have to have 2 academics come up here and give 2 lectures. First, we go around, we gave the extraordinary history of Bangladesh, the history of women's education in Bengal, and the history of perseverance in the face of despair. So here I am as an academic trying to find the papers. There they are. I'd like to thank, of course, everyone here, the MCs for their extraordinary work. I'd like to thank Falcana and the Sabrina Memorial Foundation team, everyone here, in fact, who's worked incredibly hard to make this event possible. And of course, I should have started by saying Salam Alaikum. The basic goal of the Sabrina Memorial Foundation, obviously, as we've heard time and again this evening, is to provide hope through education. You can see behind me. A message that is, of course, universal. Incredible people all around the world face incredible obstacles to provide and to secure the most basic of human rights, including the right to education. We've already heard about the work of Wasim Salam and everyone else who's worked with the Sabrina Memorial Foundation in Bangladesh, in Kenya, and here in Texas. I'm honored to be invited to say a few words about hope and education in another part of the world, a part of the world I'm more familiar with, that is to say, Palestine. A part of the world today whose children, especially the million children of Gaza, face another year without education because there are no schools left to go to, no universities for students to return to, and no homes in which families can feel safe. And yet, and this is the point, education and life persist in Palestine just as they persist in all other parts of the world, including in Gaza, and in so doing, provide one of the most important lessons for all of us. The people of Palestine, like the people of Bangladesh, like the people of Texas, like the people around the world, the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents, all the widows, the families, the relatives, the orphans, all those who persevere and sacrifice on their land in the face of overwhelming odds, remind us not just of their steadfastness, but of our privilege. We've heard this message come across over and over again. We are privileged to be here, but because of the fact that many of us are educated, but the problem is that education and hope are so easy to take for granted, but never should be. So what is the relationship between Bangladesh and Palestine? I guess the most obvious relationship is the fact that even the most desperate and despairing parts of the world, even the most desperate circumstances anywhere in the world that I'm aware of today, which is in Gaza, there is still hope. Palestine, at the most fundamental level, teaches us both how the world has actually worked, how it actually works, and how it might work more ideally. At the same time, Palestine is a reminder of why so many of us, students, and there are many students in this room, teachers of all faiths and backgrounds, insist that the world has not worked well enough. And that's precisely what the Sabrina Memorial Foundation is all about, making the world work better. If we actually listen to Palestinians and to the idea of Palestine, more than anything else, we can see a remarkable and deep hope in the face of unmitigated tragedy. That there's something better in this world, something better on the horizon, something fairer, something more just. And that image that always comes to mind is before the Gaza genocide, this is the last World Cup, and this is the Moroccan team. One of the Moroccan team football players holding up the Palestinian flag. Because for so many people around the world, including in Bangladesh, Palestine and the idea of Palestine is ultimately about justice. But I cannot in good conscience stand here and talk to you about the football and the World Cup and all the beautiful things that are related to Palestine and talk about Palestinian children without acknowledging the extraordinary, undeniably catastrophic situation they face, including, of course, the methodical destruction by Israel after October 2023 of every single of Gaza's 12 universities, almost all its schools, most of its libraries and archives, in addition to the deliberate and chilling decision to malnourish and starve a million children, let alone everything else that most of us have seen on our phones, on our tablets, and on our computers over the past 16 months. It doesn't matter what the rationale is, it doesn't matter what the reason is. The genocide in Gaza has become a metaphor for our generation. The truth is, it doesn't take one being a historian, such as myself, or a scholar of any discipline, to recognize that what has happened in Gaza is unacceptable and unconscionable. It doesn't take a scholar to understand that for the entirety of my daughter's lifetime, and my son who's here, his lifetime, or just about his lifetime, my daughter's in the first year of college, my son is finishing college. Her peers in Gaza and his peers in Gaza have endured an extraordinary life, siege, that has curtailed their ability, boys and girls, the ability to have a full education, let alone a free and normal life. And yet they have persevered in the face of deprivation, siege, and abandonment. In my daughter's lifetime, and in my son's lifetime, Palestinians have built some of the 12 universities in Gaza that no longer exist. They did so because Palestinians, like every people around the world, like Bangladeshis, like people here in this country, value education, both in the sciences and in the humanities. And this is, again, one of the images that is so powerful about the situation today in Palestine. Despite the fact that every university is being destroyed, here you have an image of a student, an MA student, defending his MA thesis in a tent, because there are no universities left, but the will to education and the will to continue continues. And that is one of the most important lessons that we can draw. I don't have much else to say, except to say that Palestine, in its most beautiful form, teaches us about love, it teaches us about humility, it teaches us about coexistence. Palestine has always been a multi-religious land, a place where Muslims, Christians, and Jews have lived historically for centuries and centuries together. It is a land that is known for its pluralism. It is a land that is known to be sacred to 3 of the great monotheistic religions. It is a land where the idea of coexistence doesn't even need a theory because people took it for granted. Such was the history of Palestine for centuries and centuries. And that brings me to my own story. And I wanted to tell you very little about my own story. So there's a picture of my great-grandfather and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. My grandmother is the one on the far left, the girl on the far left picture. And my great-grandfather actually, interestingly, to show you the history of Palestine and how people are all connected, my great-grandfather came to this state, Texas, back in the late 19th, early 20th century, became a Baptist. He went to Waco, converted to, he was Christian, but he became a different kind of Christian, became a Baptist, went back to Palestine, opened the first Baptist church in Palestine in the 1920s, in Nazareth, where my grandmother, Hilda Said, was born, or Hilda Musa, as she was before she became Hilda Said. And my grandmother met a Jerusalemite by the name of William, who bore her 5 children. Among those 5 children were my mother, Jean, and her older brother, Edward. You may have heard of him, Edward Said. And these are part and parcel of the history of Palestine and the history of coexistence in Palestine, where people lived their lives They believed in pluralism, they believed in coexistence. Muslims and Christians and Jews lived together side by side, and nobody at all had any idea that this life was going to change. And of course it did change in the Nakba of 1948, and I'm not going to give you a whole lesson about the Nakba of 1948, but I would like to say, and remind everybody here, that Palestinian parents, like all parents around the world, have long ago realized the power of education. My great-grandfather did, my grandmother did, my mother did, and she told us, and she instilled in us, just like all of you instill in your children, the beauty and the power of education, to appreciate just how education can change the world and change your world. Like refugees and exiles all around the world, Palestinians doubly appreciate and crave learning and are desperate to teach their children. We in turn have an opportunity and a responsibility to teach our children, to learn, to talk, and to think about places like Palestine, places about Palestine's past, its present, and its future. For far too long, we've been told one side of the story, and it's long overdue to reckon with the other side of the story. Because once you reckon with the other side of the story, you will not just retell the story, but you will fundamentally change the way you think about the entirety of the story. And this brings me back to the students in this room, to the young people of all faiths here, who have been pushing so hard to put Palestine back on our ethical agenda. Some of whom I'm sure are working incredibly hard to actually remind us of the beauty and the power and the necessity of always thinking not just about ourselves, but of others. And so on that note, I'd like to remind us again of the Sabrina Memorial Foundation, all the work that it does. I understand, of course, that the Sabrina Memorial Foundation does not work on Palestine, but it works on Palestine in ways that sort of, because of the work they do in Bangladesh and the work they do in Texas and the work they do in Kenya, they do in fact, of course, relate to the work on Palestine. The work of this foundation does contribute to the greater goal of universal education and liberation, and that surely includes Palestinians. A great poet and writer once said, "There is a place for all at the rendezvous of victory, and we should do all we can to get closer to this rendezvous. For all we know and have seen on the ground and over the skies in Gaza, knowledge can be used to oppress or to liberate. We have a choice to make on what side of this divide we choose to stand." To me, it's clear where the Sabrina Memorial Foundation stands. It's clear where so many of our younger students in this room have stood. So thank you to the Sabrina Memorial Foundation. Please give all you can to this extraordinary foundation. Please acknowledge all the work that everybody in this room who volunteers for this organization do. I salute this mission. It's an extraordinary mission. And thank you to everybody for all the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. McAfee, for that incredibly powerful reminder. And I think some of the pictures really, there's a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And a few of those images that you had up on the screen were incredibly powerful, particularly the one with the masterpiece being defended inside of a tent, with so much going on around them, with so much despair and destruction happening, possibly even at that current moment. You know, there's the focus of education, the focus of continuing the work and continuing to educate future generations is still in play, and that is incredibly powerful. We'd now like to shift our focus into a few of the projects that Sabrina Memorial Foundation has been conducting over the past years, that has been conducting within educational realms and also other areas. So if you guys could please bring your attention or focus your attention to the screens. We have a documentary playing that is all done, all this work, I must remind you once more, is all done with your support and with our supporters. If you guys could please focus your attention on the screen, and the documentary should begin shortly.
People are as big as their dreams. The Sabrina Memorial Foundation embodies this dream. dedicated entirely to the progress and well-being of individuals. Its mission is to provide opportunities for a brighter future. The origins of our foundation lie in the southern region of Bangladesh. On the shores of Khulna, here the seeds of that dream were planted, allowing it to blossom into the reality we see today. The name Sabrina Memorial Foundation symbolizes hope for the upliftment of people living in rural communities in Bangladesh. Sabrina Memorial Foundation strives to make education accessible and affordable to all, focusing on low-income families in rural areas of the world. Our academy educates students, aiming to make them morally upright and equipped with knowledge and practical skills such as guidance, service, and leadership, so that they can in turn help others. Our goal is to provide high-quality education and technical training to both girls and boys, aiming for a future where every child can succeed. Under SMF Academy, students from all walks of life can receive an education at little to no cost.
আমি শিশুশ্রেণী থেকে সাবিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশনের আর্থিক সহযোগিতায় সম্পূর্ণ লেখাপড়া করে আসছি। এই বিদ্যালয়ে পড়াশোনার পরিবেশটা খুবই ভালো। শিক্ষকদের পাঠদানের মানসম্মত এবং উচ্চশিক্ষিত ও দক্ষ শিক্ষকদের দিয়ে শ্রেণীকক্ষে পাঠদান করা হয়।
এখানে অনেক সুযোগ সুবিধা পেয়ে থাকি আমরা, বিনামূল্যে পড়ার সুযোগ, উপবৃত্তি ব্যবস্থা ইত্যাদি সুযোগ সুবিধাগুলো আমরা উপভোগ করে থাকি।
আমাদের স্কুলে দুপুরে খাবারের ব্যবস্থা আছে। এখানে স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত খাবার দেওয়া হয়। সকল ছাত্রছাত্রী সহ সাবিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশনের সাথে সংশ্লিষ্ট সকলে সেই খাবার খায়। আমাদের স্কুলের ছাত্রছাত্রীদের ইউনিফর্ম দেওয়া হয়। আমাদের স্কুলের প্রধান শিক্ষক সহ সকলে খুবই আন্তরিক ও যত্নশীল।
আমার আগে কম্পিউটার সম্পর্কে তেমন কোনোই ধারণা ছিল না, কিন্তু এই স্কুলে আসার পরে আমার কম্পিউটার সম্পর্কে অনেক কিছু জেনেছি। এখন আমি কম্পিউটারের মাইক্রোসফট অফিস ওয়ার্ড, এক্সেল, পাওয়ার পয়েন্ট এর সাথে সাথে ফটো এডিটিংয়েরও কাজ করতে পারি।
SMF not only ensures that underprivileged students receive a proper education, but prioritizes each student's physical growth and well-being by providing school uniforms and nutritious meals at no cost.
Sabrina Memorial Junior Girls High School is a unique education institution in these megapolis.
এদের শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা খুবই ভালো। এরা বাচ্চাদেরকে খুব আন্তরিকভাবে পাঠদান করছে।
এলাকার সকল শিশু বাচ্চারা এখানে সুশিক্ষার খুবই সুন্দর পরিবেশ এখানে পাচ্ছে।
2023 সালে এসএসসি পরীক্ষা সহ বিগত বছরগুলোর এসএসসি পরীক্ষার ফলাফল খুব ভালো হয়। আমি উৎসাহিত হয়ে আমার মেয়েকে এই বিদ্যালয়ে ভর্তি করিয়েছি। কোনো বাচ্চা যদি কোনোদিন অনুপস্থিত থাকে তাদের খোঁজ খবর নিচ্ছে, বাসায় যেয়ে অনেক সময় তারা বাসায় যাচ্ছে বা গার্ডিয়ান কল করছে। লেখাপড়ার পাশাপাশি এখানে মাল্টিমিডিয়া ভিত্তিক পাঠদান, দুপুরে খাবার ব্যবস্থা, কম্পিউটার প্রশিক্ষণের ব্যবস্থা, এগুলো আমার কাছে খুব ভালো লাগে, যেগুলো চাবুসা এলাকায় অন্য কোনো বিদ্যালয়ে নেই।
সাবিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশন বিগত কয়েক বছরের ভিতরে আল্লাহর রহমতে অনেক উন্নয়নের দিকে এগিয়ে গেছে।
SMF has been working with marginalized people for a long time, providing services in various sectors including education, medical services, disaster relief, and safe water solutions. Sabrina Memorial Academy offers computer labs equipped with state-of-the-art facilities such as science labs, digital learning systems, libraries, and auditoriums, fostering intellectual growth and preparing students to venture out in today's digitally driven society. SMF has not just focused on independent projects, but has since branched out to support multiple other ventures. For example, the recent construction of the Anushilon Modern School was financed by the Sabrina Memorial Foundation.
শুরুতে আমাদের কাজটা অনেকটাই মসৃণ ছিল, কিন্তু যতদিন যায় ততই কিন্তু আমরা বিভিন্ন সমস্যাগ্রস্ত হয়ে পড়ি। আমরা স্বপ্ন দেখেছিলাম যে আমাদের নিজস্ব জায়গা হবে, নিজস্ব ভবন হবে, সেখানে আমরা আমাদের মতো করে আমাদের প্রতিষ্ঠানটাকে সাজাবো, আমাদের শিশুদের শিক্ষা সহ তাদের মৌলিক অধিকার পূরণ হবে। সাবিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশন আমাদের পাশে এসে দাঁড়ায়। তারা আমাদের দীর্ঘদিনের যে লালিত স্বপ্ন একটি ভবন হবে, সেই ভবনটা কিন্তু আমাদেরকে করে দেয়।
The reality of educational disparity is most clear at the SMF Night School, located in the capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka. Funded and operated by SMF, the school provides education for impoverished children living on the streets and working as child laborers during the day. Besides offering education, the evening school also offers dinner, Eid al-Fitr attire, and medical assistance for the students.
আমাদের টিচার যখন আমাদেরকে পড়ায় আমাদের অনেক ভালো লাগে, আনন্দ সাথে পড়তে আমার অনেক আনন্দ লাগে। স্কুলে দুইটা পরীক্ষা হয়, এখানটাকে মিউজিয়াম দুই জামা দেওয়া হয়, কোরবানি মাংস দেওয়া হয়। আমার বাবাকে স্বাবলম্বী হওয়ার জন্য ভ্যান এবং মেমোকে সুবিধা দিয়েছে। আমি এই স্কুল কোনোদিন ভুলবো না, কারণ আমি এই স্কুলে ক্লাস 5 পর্যন্ত পড়েছি। সাবরিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশনকে ধন্যবাদ আমাদের পড়ালেখার ব্যবস্থা করার জন্য।
Kushtia is an arsenic-prone region of Bangladesh. Due to the excess of arsenic in the water of this region, the people here are affected by various physical problems, including skin diseases. The Lalon water filter has been developed in Bangladesh under the initiative of the Sabrina Memorial Foundation to address this issue. People in Kushtia and other regions of the country are gaining relief from harmful poisonings such as iron, arsenic, and other chemicals detrimental to human health through the use of Lalon water filters, which have been distributed free of cost among the people in these areas.
আমরা আগে অনেক দূর থেকে পানি টেনে নিয়ে আসি খেতাম আয়রনের কারণে। এই ফিল্টার করার কারণে আর দূরের থেকে পানি নিয়ে আসা লাগে না। সেই পানি দিয়ে আমরা অনেক সব কাজ করি, রান্না বান্না সবই করছি। অনেকেই হাসে উপকার হয়েছে পানিতে। অনেক হলো আর্সেনিক ছিল আমাদের টিউবওয়েলে। এই পানি ফিল্টার করার পরে কোনো আর্সেনিক থাকে না। আমরা আয়রনমুক্ত পানি দিয়ে কোনো সম্পূর্ণ কাজ করতে পারি।
A more recent project is the SMF clinics. Managed by a digital cloud system which is new to much of Bangladesh, these clinics have been established in the Khulna and Kushtia regions. Here, patients can receive treatment from specialist doctors for a small fee of 20 cents. Additionally, medicine and necessary services are also provided at no cost. These clinics will gradually spread throughout the country, providing free healthcare services to the underprivileged and remote areas.
আমি এখানে অনেকবার আসছি, আসে ডাক্তার দেখাইছি, আরো অনেক পরিচিত মানুষকে নিয়ে আসছি। এখানে সবাই খুব ভালো।
আমি মাধ্যমে শুনতে পেলাম যে এখানে মেডিসিনের ডাক্তার আসছে, ফ্রি ওষুধ দেয়।
আসে দেখি অনেকেই রোগী দেখে আমি দেখালাম, আমার দেখে দিল, ওষুধ পানি দিল।
একজন পেশেন্ট সে চেম্বারে আসলে যেরকম সেবা পায়, এখানে মাত্র 20 টাকা মূল্যে সে একই সেবা আমরা প্রোভাইড করে থাকি।
এখান থেকে ডায়াগনোসিস, ওষুধ যত সম্ভব ওষুধ দেওয়া, পুরো কোর্স ওষুধটা এখান থেকে দেওয়া হয়। আপাতত আমাদের কাছে স্যাটিসফ্যাকশন ভালো, রোগীর মোটামুটি যারা আসছে সবাই আমাদের বলছে যারা স্যাটিসফাইড।
আর এই প্রতিষ্ঠান থেকে তারা বিনামূল্যে ওষুধও পেয়ে থাকে এবং দেখা যায় যে হয়তো 1 মাসের প্রেশার বা ডায়াবেটিস যে ক্রনিক ডিজিজগুলোর ওষুধ তারা পেয়ে থাকে, সেটি শেষ হয়ে গেলে আবার তারা আমাদের কাছ থেকে ওষুধ নিতে আসে।
রিপিট রোগী অনেক বেশি হয়, বারবার রোগী আসেন, ভর্তি আসেন, যে তারা আমরা দেখাবেন, ফলো আপে আসেন, নিয়মিত নতুন রোগী আসেন।
Most recently, SMF has initiated a remarkable, one-of-a-kind project in the northern region of Bangladesh, the SMF Orphanage and Old Home. This home takes in all age ranges of people abandoned by their families, ensuring a free stay, food and living arrangements, in addition to a proper education for orphan children and adolescents. By putting the children and elderly together, these individuals form a family of their own and are offered a sense of security otherwise unavailable to them. SMF has facilitated the construction of the multi-story building to ensure that the residents of the SMF Orphanage and Old Home witness a new ray of hope.
এরা আমাদের সহযোগিতা করে, সবসাথে আমার বড় সহযোগিতা এখানে আমাদের ফ্রি পাই।
ওষুধ পানি যা কিছু যাবতীয় খাওয়ার দাওয়ার সব কিছু আমাদের দেয়।
ভালো থাকতে পারি, খাইতে পারি, চলতে পারি।
কাপড় চোপড় যা লাগে সম্পূর্ণ দেয়, সাবান সুগা সম্পূর্ণ আমাদের দেয়।
এই প্রতিষ্ঠানে বাচ্চাদের পড়াশোনা করায়।
5 ছেলে যে সাবরিনা মেমোরিয়াল থেকে আমরা 3 তলা একটা ঘর পেয়েছি।
সাবরিনা মেমোরিয়াল ফাউন্ডেশন থেকে একটা নতুন বিল্ডিং দিয়েছে।
SMF not only focuses on providing education, but has established several self-sustaining endowment projects, such as biogas plants, cattle farms, and fish farming projects. The income generated from these projects has not only benefited the Academy, but also the greater community. Apart from the southern regions of Khulna, Sabrina Memorial Foundation has set up lemon and banana orchards. The people of SMF Orphanage and Old Home are benefiting from the income received from this project.
সাবরিনা মারিয়াম ফাউন্ডেশনের তত্ত্বাবধানে তাদের অর্থায়নে আমাদের প্রতিষ্ঠানের জন্য এখানে প্রজেক্ট করা আছে, যা 3 বছর হচ্ছে। এখান থেকে এখন আমরা ইয়ারলি 3.5 লক্ষ টাকা মতো প্রদান করতে পারছি। আমাদের প্রতিষ্ঠানের জন্য খুবই সহযোগিতা হচ্ছে, এটা আমাদের অনেক কাজের আছে।
The Sabrina Memorial Foundation continues to serve marginalized communities across multiple sectors. With your support, its dedication to humanitarian service will persist through generations to come.
We hope that video gave you all a bit more of an introduction as to the work that we have been mentioning all throughout the night, the work that we are doing for education, the work that we are doing for the betterment of the community, the work that Sabrina is doing for those who are impoverished, those who are orphans. We hope that gave you a little bit more of an insight as to what we were referring to all day or all night. At this time, we'd like to request Dr. Hashim Mohammed to join us to share some of SMF's ongoing project updates. Dr. Mohammed is a practicing nephrologist at the Dallas Nephrology Associates, which is the largest nephrology practice in the DFW area. He has also been a committed volunteer of Sabrina Memorial Foundation since our very beginning, and we are honored to have him with us once again. So without any further ado, Dr. Hashim Mohammed.
Can everybody hear me? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you everybody for being here. My work tonight has been made very easy by the presentation, so I'm going to skip over many of the slides very quickly. You all saw what Sabrina Memorial Foundation has been doing for a while. I just want to let you know about a few upcoming projects, but what has really amazed me over these years that I've been working with Sabrina is just how effective the foundation is, and just how quickly it moves and how efficiently your donations are deployed. I'd like to start with a bit of a history. I'll go over it very, very quickly. So nobody can escape their geography, and Sabrina started in the wake of a cyclone. The coastal area of Bangladesh are routinely hit by cyclones, as you can see, but November 2007, Cyclone Saber was an unusually bad beast. Wind speeds of 260 kilometers an hour, about 3,500 people lost their lives. There was widespread damage to property, life, and lives were uprooted and communities destroyed. A young lady by the name of Sabrina started helping out in the Jabusha area, trying to do whatever little she could to uplift the people, helping with education, with their health, hands-on training, and that became the motto of this foundation. Unfortunately, she passed away at a young age, and her family took up the reign from there and then started to carry the mission forward. Wasim Salam, we heard about a lot today. A friend of mine, I knew him from his work at IMT. He was an extremely skilled project manager, and he put his skills to work. So in 2013, they started collecting funds, and they started building this school, which was also a strong shelter. You can see by how wide these foundations are. This can take cyclone level winds, and this became the local storm shelter as well. But within a year, the first class was being enrolled. As you can see, the construction is still ongoing, and within a few years, the whole building was ready and providing state-of-the-art education, multimedia classrooms, computer education, science labs, cultural and sports events, and even giving them food that they could take home with them for the rest of their family as well. And within a few years, up to 300 people are kids were being not only enrolled, but they were excelling in the exams across the area. They were getting really top grades. And while it might look like a school, you have to realize there is nothing like this in the rural areas of Bangladesh. This is an oddity in the middle there. The kids getting this type of education is simply unheard of in that area. Moving on, this is actually an interesting anecdote with this one. I've been showing this slide for many years. I changed the year and some numbers, but starting off with 10 volunteers in 2013, This year we have over 250 volunteers. And I used to boast like my colleagues, they didn't donate here because overheads are less than 1%. Everybody works on their own time. Nobody charges, nobody takes any salary, anything. So a few weeks ago, this thing was rotating in the hospital. Like, there's news that ProPublica had published a list of all non-profits in America and their salary and compensation of their executives. Somebody mentioned, hey, you keep talking about this foundation, let's pull that up, and I did. Big zeros across the board. So this was kind of a bit of an indication for me in my hospital that, nobody charges. All the people, everybody that you see working here, they're 100% volunteer, and every penny you give goes directly into the projects. The modus operandi of the foundation has been support, collaborate, and replicate. Meaning that any project we start, we try to support it with donations and making self-sustaining projects, but we also collaborate. There's no egos here. Many organizations, they see somebody doing good, but we want our name there, so we do this again on our own. If we see something working good, we do not reinvent the wheel. We go in and we support them and we collaborate with them. As you've seen, and I'll show you some examples as well. And then if we find a winning formula, we replicate it, and so to save cost and make it more widespread. You heard about the Rishon School being rebuilt by the Sabrina Foundation. You heard about the night school where children we partnered with Hope to help them run the school and make it more effective. And together, between the SMF High School and the Academy and the night school, the total cost to sustain this project is about $65,000 per year. You heard about the water crisis and how we've been giving out these filters. And over the years, now it's estimated that over 40,000 people are now getting water from these filters free of, not just free of arsenic. If you test this water from the filters, it's at par or better than the best available bottled water in Bangladesh. I also, you saw in the video about, actually these presentations are becoming harder and harder because every time I come in, I think I've done this before, and they say, okay, you have to make it shorter because here are the 3 new projects we have talked about. Literally, it's becoming harder and harder to fit these in. Just last year, I talked about this SLF clinic that you saw earlier, getting free medication, state-of-the-art electronic health record system to track the health of people, hopefully use it for public health records like vaccinations and cancer screening in the future. But within the 1 year, now we have 3 clinics, and as of January 2005, the 3rd clinic was started, and there's 1 sister clinic now that we're supporting in Mombasa in Kenya, and the 4th one in Bangladesh is going to be open very soon in Dhaka as well. And the total cost to manage these is about $35,000 a year is our contribution to this study. This is literally from my slide from last year. Now, once again, you heard about this unique institution of the Orphanage and Old Folks Home. I remember that 2 years ago, I was showing to the same crowd here, a lot of people here, I was showing floor plans, that this is what we were going to build. The next year, I showed a picture of the completed building, and earlier, some time ago, everybody's now finally moved in, and it's already done. 2 years it all took from the ground up to build this. This is called, this is how we effectively deploy your donations. And currently we support these institutions for $10,000 per year to provide them with food and all the other amenities we give them. And also they're raising some funds from these lemon orchards and everything that you heard about. Very briefly, I'll talk about some of these new initiatives. So Sabrina recently, in July of last year, partnered with the Aspen Jameel Technical Center to start a technical and vocational training institute in Sunwood in Lebanon. And here people are trained into general mechanics work, electrical, household wiring, and computer training, and things like that. And that's about $20,000 per year. But even more exciting is the next project, which is with Bangladesh. This is again, just like the Hope School, the night school in Dhaka. These are children who are street-learning children. Not only do they get education, but here they're being given vocational training on different skills. So you can see that the ongoing projects are sewing machine training, mobile phone servicing, and handicraft. But very soon they're going to start training in mechanical training center, air conditioning repair, refrigeration, TV repair. And just today I heard that there's a 6-year-old boy who can get an education and can also change the screen on your iPhone for you. So they literally learn this, and even though to our Western sensibilities it looks odd, like children working, but I'm from Pakistan originally, and for many of these third world countries, developing countries, in rural areas, the entire family pitching into the finance of the house is a way of life. So this is also a way of getting them some hands-on training to the field as they grow up. These are all recession-proof and AI-proof jobs. So as they move forward, they can also uplift themselves out of that endless cycle of poverty that people in these areas are living in. So we're hoping that the education institutions like this, as they get educated, as they get older, they'll have solid skills in their hands and they can be a productive member of society and also get their families out of poverty. And last but not least, something really near dear to my heart, I was blown away when I heard this that they're doing this year. So I'm a nephrologist, I take care of dialysis patients every day. Those of you who don't know what dialysis means, kidney is a vital organ. Once the kidneys fail, the patient dies. So the kidneys clean the blood. So as you can see in the picture, patients have to go to a dialysis center, get hooked up to a machine through blood lines. The blood is removed from the body, cleaned, and then the clean blood is returned to the body 3 times a week. Without this, the patient cannot survive. In America, we are very lucky that because of the act of Congress in the 70s, most people are able to get dialysis. And even in our city, a lot of illegal immigrants and people who have no access to any insurance, they can still get some form of dialysis through the Pakistan system and things like that. In Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, dialysis diagnosis for the vast majority of people is just delaying death a little bit, and it's literally a recipe for bankruptcy of the family. What I mean by that is that I hear these horror stories all the time from my colleagues in Pakistan and some of my friends in India. Patient goes on dialysis, extremely expensive. Family members, just to keep their loved one alive, literally start selling every asset they have. And even though that family member gets to live a little bit longer, the family is bankrupt at the end of it. So it destroys the entire household. So just to hear that in partnership with the Human Aid Research Lab and Hospital, they are providing very affordable dialysis service to people. And I'm blown away. If you see, it says venous catheters. That's how a lot of patients get dialysis here. Those who have access to good insurance will get the arterial venous fistula, which is a surgery on the vein of your arm. They're providing that over there. And not just that, they're going to start providing kidney transplant services as well. This literally blew me away. This is literally saving somebody's life, and at the same time, it's not going to bankrupt their families. The total cost for us is going to go to $50,000 per year. And I believe we're starting off by donating 3 dialysis machines, and each of them is about $15,000. Once again, I'm going to mention that this is the modus operandi of the foundation, but we would like you to do the same thing. Please support these projects, donate generously, collaborate with us. If you have time, you can also donate your time. Help with fundraising, whichever way you want, you can do that. And help us replicate these projects across not just Bangladesh, but also here in America and Kenya and others. And at the end, I'm just going to post some of these numbers there, some of the things that, how these projects are, how much they're costing us. Of course, there's a QR code to scan and donate if you wish. And once again, I'm going to thank you for your time and your attention, and I hope you all have a very good rest of the evening. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hashim, for the update on some of the projects. And as you can see, Sabrina is active and going. Just as you mentioned, I remember a few points from the presentation that he did last year, and I remember him mentioning a few of the same things today, but there were quite a few new updates that that Sabrina has been undertaking within the past year. So we now like to shift into our main event of the night, which is our motivational speech and fundraiser. And to help us do that, we'd like to invite to the stage Brother Wadud Hassan. Brother Wadud is the founder and principal of the Raqaba School in Frisco, Texas. Brother Wadud completed graduate studies in education at Vanderbilt University. He attended the principal's training at Harvard and is a certified teacher of the Google-born Search Inside Yourself Mindful and Emotional Intelligent Leadership Training. Without any more delay, we'd like to invite Brother Wadud Hassan.
Assalamu alaikum. Right, so I stand here in a room full of people that I grew up around in my teenage years, and many of you that know me and Leah and the family, and Wasim was very, very dear to our hearts. Wasim was somebody that we loved, and before he passed, he asked me actually to help support and lead the school in Jebusha and Kulna. So I just wanted to take a very, very short and focused time. Can I have everybody's attention on my left side of the room, middle of the room, right of the room? We're down to the essence of this program where we're all supporting the organization. So we basically need everybody's attention and support, so I'll make it very, very short, and hopefully I'll be able to get to some of the key areas that we need to raise the funds for. My job is not easy because we've heard some really amazing presentations, some amazing, exciting presentations, beautiful updates from the project. And in terms of the last thing that Dr. Hashim mentioned, that one disease, my dad was diagnosed with end-stage kidney disease a few years ago, and I know how difficult it was on me and my family to transition, to accept it, and to support him. And in somewhere like Bangladesh, it is something that can completely destroy a family. So what we're trying to ask here, and my job is to inspire you with, usually the way that fundraising is done, is that we talk, we do motivational speech, we tell you about the ayahs of the Quran, we tell you about the benefits and the rewards of donating and supporting through the hadiths of the Prophet, and then we ask you for a certain amount. So instead of trying to make it long or trying to make it do another motivational speech, I created a few slides and I tried to capture, even though it was last minute, I tried to capture some of the key categories that we need your support on. I know that everybody's hungry, and when he announced and he said, now we're going to invite you to the main part of the program, how many of you thought it was a dinner? So if you thought it was a dinner, just wait for a few more moments and we'll get there, and I didn't want to really be that person between you and your dinner. So I want to just recite a beautiful ayah of the Quran. Allah says about a beautiful ayah of the Quran that Allah actually tells us about people that even when we're hungry, and this is related to, we're hungry right now, we're waiting for our dinner, and there's a beautiful story that I wanted to share. Allah says, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. That they are people that share and donate and give despite their love, despite that they themselves, they give food, and despite their love for it, to the needy. They themselves have need, but they sacrifice that to support the needy and the orphan and the captive. And there's a beautiful story that one day, I'll get to the categories really fast after the story. One day, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, for those of us, our friends that are from different faith, Fatima and Ali, they were fasting. And Fatima and Ali, they didn't have any food, so for a few days, is there any food at home? No, so okay, we'll go ahead and fast. And after a few days, when they finally found food, and they can speak to, that we're ready for dinner, right? So they want to break their fast, they gathered a little bit of food, and what happens is that right at that time, a beggar, a miskin, comes to the door and knocks on the door. And whatever food they had, they gave it away. And they just broke their fast with water. Next day, they fast, and they're about to break their fast, and an orphan comes to the door and knocks on the door. And whatever food they had, they gave it away. And the third day, they're about to break their fast, a prisoner who was recently released comes to and is looking to re-enter the community, the society in need, coming to the door, knocking on their door, and asking for support. And whatever food they had, they gave it away. To this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a beautiful ayah in the Quran. And this ayah
ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما واسيرا انما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. That they are doing this even though they themselves are in need, they give away their food to the needy, the orphan, the captive, saying, we feed you only for the sake of God. We desire neither reward nor a thank you. We're not seeking your reward. We're not seeking your thank you. And this is the spirit, this is the essence, and this is the daughter of our prophet. And how they themselves are not asking from anybody else in the community and keeping themselves quiet and silent while they are sacrificing whatever they may have to improve the people in the community around them. Brothers and sisters, respected guests, elders, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a beautiful faith, a beautiful inspiration. That when the Prophet ﷺ was in Makkah, in the cave of Hira, meditating for days and months, and when the first revelation came, that the first revelation told the Prophet ﷺ to Iqra, read. And within that first 5 verses of the Quran, 2 really important gifts, 2 really important tools were given to the Prophet. One of them was to read, and another was الَّذِي عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ. Allah teaches you by the power of His pen to write. Reading and writing are 2 really beautiful ways that we as Muslims have learned God's signs, His majesty, His greatness. And from the very beginning of Islam, we never had an issue with science. Islam never had an issue with science because some of our Quranic scholars were the ones that also became doctors, went into medicine, went into engineering, went into philosophy, and also their worldview was very different than ours. They were not learning these knowledge just because they wanted a career. They wanted to make money. Their worldview was that how do I learn this stream of knowledge to be a steward of God on this earth? How do I learn this knowledge to serve Him in His creation? How do I learn this knowledge to really learn and excel in a way that I can get to know what God is wanting to teach us through science in the universe? My brothers and sisters, with that, I'm going to say we have a beautiful legacy as a community to build institutions of knowledge, to build reading and writing, to give and to support, to build communities, even when it is at the expense of ourselves. So if I can scroll, is there a clicker here? And I promise that I'm going to take you through the causes really fast. Are you guys with me? Yes. If you stay with me, I'm going to get through this really fast. All right. So let's go to category number. Am I clicking? Hold on. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So the first one, the first cause here is the Human Aid Research Lab in the Dialysis Hospital. We just heard about a family, a person that might be going through that difficulty. The Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet Muhammad has informed us that the most beloved actions to God are when you bring happiness and relief to another person, to another human being, to another Muslim. Imagine the pain of the person suffering from the kidney failure, endless dialysis treatments, the financial strain, the fear of an uncertain future. The need for today, for this clinic, for the 3 dialysis machine and the whole project is $50,000. And we're going to start with $15,000 for each machine. Each dialysis machine is going to cost $15,000. So we want 3 sponsors. As long as these people have this beautiful gift of cure and life and their family having that relief, God will also provide you relief. As the Prophet has told us, when you have mercy on others, God will have mercy on you. When you provide relief to others, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be a source of relief for you. So I need everybody's attention and I need a few hands. 3 people from the gathering tonight that will say that yes, I will sponsor one of those machines. I'll sponsor one of those dialysis machines. We need 3 people for that $15,000 each. Can I have the first hand? And of course, these are zakat eligible. If Ramadan's coming, it's a beautiful time to cleanse our sins. Ask forgiveness from God, ask forgiveness from our friends and families, cleanse our hearts, and enter Ramadan with a clean heart. So this is a time to give and get ready. So anyone that would like to be the first one to say, I'm going to give $15,000 to sponsor this machine. Dialysis, and we need 3 of these. Can we pay over an installment? Okay, so who's the first person? And whoever starts good, as the Prophet has mentioned, if you start it off and you were the first one to donate, everyone that will donate after you will get a reward. And also all the projects that will be supported will get a reward as well. So I need one hand for 15,000. One hand for 15,000. And I know that sometimes we do silent and we ask you to just write it down. Just doing this for the sake of encouraging the room, bringing a little bit of energy to the room. I will finish this off in the next, inshallah. I plan to finish this off in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you so much. And I will bless you in the next from inshallah. Brothers, like, okay, thank you so much. May Allah accept. Allah make this means a perfect dish. So, can we have one hand for 15,000 for one machine, one dialysis machine? Teams, SNF team, do you have any commitment for 15K for one of these machines from anyone? And the impact, think about the impact. You know, somebody who's losing their job, their family struggling to pay for their treatment, condition worsening, and when you are bringing that relief, it brings that relief to the entire family. There is a beautiful thing that I want to do tonight, which is with each of these donations, as you offer these donations, for each of these donations, each of these support, I want to think about a beautiful name of Allah. For this specific thing, I thought that we could think about the name of Allah, Ash-Shafi, the one who cures. Ash-Shafi is the one that cures, that gives you cure. And our scholars have mentioned that behind every name of Allah are treasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through that name, Allah says in the Quran, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Reach out to God through His beautiful names, and Allah's treasures, Allah's blessings, Allah's rewards will flow behind every name. So, when you are embodying this shifa, when you are bringing this shifa, this cure to others, you can unlock these beautiful names for you. May Allah make this a means for cure and safety and protection for you and your family, and for your kids, and for your loved ones. Anyone that would like to unlock the name of Allah, Ash-Shafi, by being a source of cure for your brothers and sisters. Okay, I'll go down from 15 to 10,000. Can I have 5 hands of $10,000? Anyone that would like to do a $10,000 for this dialysis clinic? $10,000. And if you're writing a pledge, if you don't want to write, raise your hand. Raise your hand, and the volunteers will go around. They'll get it from each other. Do I have a $10,000? Okay, mashallah. We have two $10,000. Takbir. Alhamdulillah, we have two $10,000 sponsors, and that makes it 20 out of the 50,000 that's needed for this clinic. So anybody else that would like to donate, anybody who would like to join, any other 10K from the gathering. And again, my time is limited, and I will not hold you beyond the time that I said I would take. Okay, I'm going to go down to 5,000. 5,000. Can I have? We have 20,000. We need $30,000 more. Can I have $5,000? And for some of you, it could be your zakat that you are giving out, or something that you want to do as a sadaqah jariyah, as continuous charity. Anybody that would like to do 5,000 from the gathering? One of the most difficult things for the Prophet ﷺ, do you guys know what is the most difficult thing? What was the most difficult thing the Prophet had to do? What was the most difficult thing that the Prophet did? Or most difficult thing that you would have to that it's very difficult to follow. That our teachers and our scholars have mentioned that the Prophet would, if somebody came to the Prophet and they would ask for help or support, the Prophet would never say no. He would never say no. And if he had something, he would give. And if he didn't have something, then he would tell them that to come back when he might have it so that he's able to arrange something for them. It's very difficult to not say no in your entire life. If anyone asks, you don't say no. So it's such a beautiful but very high level, very high character of the Prophet ﷺ that وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Allah says about those people that ask you, do not refuse them. So how do we all say yes to this appeal? How can we all give? And how can we all participate? Any other $5,000 from the crowd for tonight? Okay, I want you to think about this cause. I'm going to move on to, I told you the story of Ali and Fatima. What you give grows stronger. Our Prophet ﷺ has mentioned to us that your wealth does not go down when you give in charity. In fact, Allah rewards you, Allah multiplies it for you, Allah gives 10 times back for you. Your money does not decrease. Your money does not decrease when you give in charity. What you give grows stronger. Next category is the night school. For just $15,000, you can fund the school for an entire year. For an entire year, you can fund the school. Children that are learning, and children that are learning education, and their money is not wasted in poverty. And the impact, these are stories inspired. It's not exactly the same name, but there's stories of impact based on real stories. That a young boy, Abdurrahman, working at a shop during the day and attending the night school in the evening. Just 2 years of education, learning to read and write. Able to get a better job. Families able to go on and come out of that cycle. How can we support these kids? How can we support these kids? The night school needs $15,000. Anybody that would like to donate $15,000. I chose the name of Allah Al-Rafi. Al-Rafir is the name that elevates and exalts. When we elevate these kids out of poverty and we bring them to a place where they're learning and they're being educated and they're able to give back. When we elevate them, Allah elevates us. So anybody that would like to give towards the night school, $5,000 to take care of the school and take care of these kids, and they'll elevate them, and it will unlock the name of Allah Rafi. So may God also elevate you, exalt you, bring you out of your difficulties, bring you to your best potential. Anyone from the crowd that will do $5,000 towards the night school. I'll come down to Brother First. I know that we started a little bit late. I know that people are ready for dinner. But feel free to give me cue in terms of, should I go down a little bit from 5? So let's go down to 3,000. Can we do $3,000 for the school to bring these kids out of poverty? $3,000. And I know that the style of fundraising at SMF have been quiet, silent mostly. But if you want to raise your hand to encourage the community, we can encourage each other. So $3,000. $3,000 for the night school. Okay, all right. Some of you are writing on your pledge card. May Allah accept from you. May Allah elevate you. May Allah accept from you. Inshallah, may Allah bless you. And I have a few things that are coming my way. Okay, so alhamdulillah. So we have $2,500 Kabir. May Allah bless you, increase you, and protect you, and make the sadaqah, this charity, as a means of protection, elevation, salvation. And we have the next $2,000 from Sister Taslima Aklam, $2,500. May Allah accept. Say Ameen. MMYA, $2,000. Amin. For the Alam Khalid, $1,500. May Allah bless them all, may Allah protect them, may Allah elevate them, may Allah grant them all their du'as. Anonymous, $1,000. Muhammad Ula, $1,000. Another anonymous, $1,000. We have a check for $1,500. May Allah accept from all of them. This is Sajid Zaman, $2,000. May Allah SWT grant you and unlock for you those beautiful names of Allah that we're referring to. Ashafi, may Allah grant you cure if you are in need of bringing cure to the clinic. May Allah grant you elevation and exaltation if you bring these kids out of poverty. And Al Masjid, is this Al Masjid? Is this Al Masjid? For $2,000. May Allah accept. MashaAllah, may Allah bless you, may Allah accept from you, may Allah elevate you. Alright, so next categories. I'll go down a little bit more. There are some beautiful stories, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'll go into this full-time school. You guys saw the full-time school, how, mashallah, kids are given hot meal, they're given clothes, they're given books, they're able to go get their education. And the target tonight for that full-time school is $70,000. $10,000 would sponsor the school. Brothers and sisters, can I have your attention for 5 more minutes? All the tables? Can I have your attention for 5 more minutes? I know that we're waiting and we're hungry and dinner is about to be served. So just give me 5 more minutes, inshallah, so let me get through the categories that you can support. So the full-time school is, we need $10,000 donors to sustain the full-time school. Can I have some names? Can I have some hands that will donate, some hands that will donate, let's go down to $1,500. Any $1,500. We went from $3,000 to $1,500. Anyone in the community that will give you a sadaqah or a zakat for $1,500. And if you're writing on the pledge card, raise your hands, volunteers will go around and play. Alright, the name of Allah that I chose for this was Al-Kareem, the generous. Allah gives us without us deserving. We don't deserve all the blessings that God has given us, but God is still so bountiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to bless us, continues to increase us, despite our shortcomings, despite our sins, despite us not deserving. And when you are generous, you unlock this name of Allah Al-Kareem, the one who will continue to open His generosity, His treasures, to take care of your needs. So, mashallah, another $1,000. Sister Samir, may Allah bless you, may Allah increase you, may Allah protect you and your family. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always protect you and grant you all your du'as. May Allah give all of you a beautiful blessed Sha'ban and a beautiful Ramadan, inshallah. Afiyah, barakah, tawfiq. The next project that I'm going to talk about is the project of the technical school for the elderly. This school, we need $25,000. $25,000 to take care of our elderly, give them the technical, story, like a brother or a sister, retired, someone that's retired, someone elderly, they're abandoned by their family, and they're learning a vocational program, learning a trade, learning to make handicrafts, and make a living. This is a beautiful way to support our brothers and sisters, inshallah. So please make sure that you write, you don't leave here without donating. And if whatever number you have in your mind, try to see if you're able to double that number, inshallah. I want to finally talk about these 2 other projects here, the clean water for 10,000 households. And the clean water, we need to raise $15,000. And how much is it for each filter? It's $120. So $120 takes care of, each of these filters. So everybody in the gathering should be able to not leave without at least sponsoring a few of these filters. Think about this mother who lost her young son because of waterborne illness. And she wishes that she had access to this clean water before this happened. And this is completely avoidable. It's something that when a Prophet was asked, he said that clean water, the sadaqah, the charity of water is the best of sadaqah. It's the best of charity. So can we all make sure that we sponsor a few of these filters before we leave? Can we all make sure? Can I have everybody's hands? We will all try to sponsor at least a water filter. At least we will try to give and anything we're able before we leave. The the Prophet, his beautiful name of Allah that I chose for this is Al-Wasi. Al-Wasi is the one who is vast, and water is beautiful, and water is vast, and Allah has provided for us. And when you give for the sake of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also expands your provision, your risk. Alhamdulillah, there is one more, and I'm about to close this up. INT, $2,000. Takbir. And the final, before I call TI, the final one is the orphanage and the senior center. And the orphanage, target for the orphanage and the senior center is $20,000. You can sponsor the entire amount, a part of the amount, or any amount that you like. And we know that the Prophet mentions that the orphans, Arabic is not showing, but I am the one who cares for an orphan who will be together in paradise like this. So we can be in the company of the Prophet ﷺ by sponsoring the orphan. And how much is it to sponsor an orphan? Is it $20 a month? How much is it? Guys, listen to me. Is it $20 a month for the orphan sponsorship? $20 a month, anyone and everyone can give you $20 a month. You don't even notice it on your card, on your credit card, on your bank balance. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you. We have two more. Another $1,000, may Allah accept, and $2,000, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from Gulam Jamra, may Allah accept, may Allah bless, may Allah protect, and from Garland and Makkah Masjid, may Allah accept, may Allah bless, may Allah increase. Alright, with that, inshallah, thank you so much everyone. I'll call TI and Brother Manzoor inshallah to the stage. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I came here to bring out my nephew, Udud. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Brothers and sisters, just one more or two more minutes that will take. Every year for the past few years, I'm here at the end to give a glad tidings or a good news to this audience that Wasim Salam has left a remarkable impression in the company he worked for, Texas Instruments. He inspired and motivated so many people. He was also a part of two initiatives called Bangladeshi Employee Network and Muslim Employees Network. He was instrumental with a few other TI employees to build this Muslim Employees Network and Bangladeshi Employees Network to help the TIs inside TI and the outside community as well. So his legacy lives on. So we, the employees of TI, every year for the past few years come together and raise funds for Sabrina Memorial Foundation. Like the last few years, Alhamdulillah, this year TI, Bangladeshi Network and Muslim Employees Network came together to donate $50,000. Again, Allahu Akbar. So I'd like to, in recognition to all the TIs who are over here, just please stand up and be recognized. So the TIs who are here that is not raising, please stand up for 10 seconds or so. Yeah. Thank you. And last but not least, my special thanks goes to Brother Siddharth Akhtar, who is instrumental in this effort. May Allah bless him and all the TIers who help in this cause. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alright, this marks the end of the program, inshallah. It's a benefit dinner, so thank you for being patient with the benefit part. Inshallah, the dinner will be serving right now. Jazakallah khairan. Again, we want to thank all of you for coming, taking the time out of your day to support this cause, as well as the speakers and the beloved supporters from day one. Jazakallah khairan.
Once again, as Zaki mentioned before, or Zaki mentioned just now, thank you so much for your attendance. Promise we will go ahead and complete the program. For dinner, please go ahead and stay seated at your tables. Dinner will be brought directly to you, so you guys do not need to go to a buffet line or anything. It will be brought directly to your tables. So please go ahead and remain seated. Once again, thank you all so much for coming out with us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you all with us. It was a pleasure to see everyone and see the amount of people supporting the wonderful programs that Sabrina is conducting at a world stage. So once again, thank you so much and enjoy your day.